214 ball speed, 391, absolutely send, mate. So let's talk about what you think is the secret sauce in your golf swing that allows you to create such immense speeds and be a world champion hitting the ball as far as you possibly can.
Well, it's really simple. I mean, I could talk about my mechanics and stuff, but I'll be totally honest. Like, I've never really changed my swing much ever since I was about 6 years old. But the big thing for me is turning my chest up and off the golf ball, help get some separation and extension in the thorax. Because the more extension you get in the abdominals, the more they can crunch and fire on the way through. But the biggest thing is how far I'm able to get this trail arm to turn. So when I'm going full tilt and you do a slow-mo, this trail arm, I can't even do because it won't statically stay there, will be out to about here with me like this.
Yeah.
So that much extension has such an incredible amount of separation in the obliques and the abs that when I pull down, I'm able to just fire really, really hard.
Yeah.
And so the biggest thing I can tell amateurs is to really try to get this lever here, the trail arm lever, as far back and extended as possible. So just go to the top of your swing, and it's this lever here, that getting more and more turn. That turn right there, turning more and more, that lever is what creates speed.
Yeah.
Because then you fire from that lever. People think, oh, I got to get a full shoulder turn. That's not the shoulder you should be thinking about. That's the shoulder you should be thinking about.
Yeah.
The back shoulder.
So this increases your length of hand path as far as you possibly. Do you know how far your hand path moves to the top?
I have no idea, but I will tell you, I'm barely past parallel.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people think, oh, like when they see someone create a tremendous amount of club like past parallel.
They're just breaking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like John Daly, he hits the ball far. But what's iconic about John Daly, obviously, is how far back he takes it.
Yeah.
But all that's really happening, I could turn to here and have a past parallel swing by just going like that.
Yeah.
That's all that's happening. So like in long drive, many people have swings past perpendicular.
Yeah.
But what's really happening is their arms getting here, and then they break, and it's just like that. My arms stay dead straight. So even though I don't get past parallel really barely at all, I'm still turning just as far, if not further, which allows me to come through with a lot more speed.
Yeah, and with a lot of recreational golfers as well, the notion of having a big body turn and a shorter arm swing will also help with their sequence coming into the golf ball. But for long drive, talk about the importance of the rotation, but also more importantly, what a lot of players miss is the extension component, right? So feeling like your chest is really getting tall and up towards the sky. Just talk about that part.
I mean, it's really all about like side bend, and it's not talked about a lot, but side bend is basically how much this joint bends this way at the top of the swing. So when you get that way, and then there's a little side bend, and that's kind of the extension of the chest, and then the contraction of the abdominals here, that causes a huge disparity of angles that you can then use to fire the trail side. And then so the first part of the swing is really all about just setting yourself up to have a lot to fire from here. So that big trail shoulder turn, the side bend, and the extension of the chest, all that's really doing is just getting you set up to fire as hard as possible from the trail abdominal.
I think that's really important to know. What I want you to do is make a full speed practice swing over the top of that tee for me, okay? And even though Kyle was mentioning about a lot of rotation and turning and getting as far behind him as possible, the left bend component that he's talking about, which is this motion as he rotates, keeps his head centered over the golf ball. So he's actually not moving and shifting off the ball a lot. So as you make a swing to the top, go full speed for me. You'll see that his head was staying relatively centered. Sure, there is a bit of a shift of mass after a big spike of pressure that then allows him to get himself into a position where he can recentering. A lot of that is an effect of getting that upper body turning more and more behind you, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of holding lag.
Okay.
I am. But I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I did kind of think at the first period of my long drive career was kind of letting the club release. And I'm not saying that's what I do necessarily, but I am saying my swing thought is to store as much as possible right here, because I want to have that angle as strong as I can and then release. Because the whole point, in my opinion, of the golf swing is you're trying to create as much of an angle at the top with your wrists as you possibly can, so that when you get to this part, that club head is so far behind you that as you release and unload your wrists, you have a tremendous amplification of speed at impact.
Yeah.
And there's two different schools of thought, obviously, because I know a lot of people do think, I think it's all trying to achieve the same thing, which is acceleration to club head with the wrists, the last lever. And so I've always thought about it as storing, but it can certainly be achieved just as easily through letting it go, up here. And it's just a matter of kind of how you perceive the swing and what clicks in your brain. So it's kind of two ways to get to the same thing.
Correct. And very important to know there is a big difference between feel and real. And for a lot of amateur golfers that are struggling with creating speed, their body is usually a lot more on top of the golf ball, where Kyle's would be a lot more behind. So as he is behind and he's storing this up, because he has this tilt behind the golf ball, that then allows him this very late whip coming to the ball. So the feel and real of what's happening combined together can give you that same effect. Is there anything else that you think about throughout your golf swing to create the most amount of speed?
Really, it sounds very simple, but it is worth saying is that I really try to get into a mode of aggression. You really, if you're trying to create a lot of speed, you need to be in a certain emotional state to do so. You're not going to be able to just walk up in the gym and hit a PR in a big lift, snoozing. You got to be ready to go. You got to have a lot of intention. So if you really want to hit a big shot, hit a big drive and gain speed, one of the best things you can do is walk into the ball with the intention. It sounds so dumb and so simple, but people just don't do it very much. Is walk in with the intention to rip it. Yeah, so I walk in, my intention here is to rip it. And so that's my one focus right now for this swing. And, having that intentionality is a very critical component of creating speed. So all of that together will help you hit the ball much further. And it's just a combination of swing, body, and mind, working in tandem to produce a desired result.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of big key takeaways here in the Snake Pit in Melbourne for Copper Puma Golf. Kyle Berkshire, world long drive champion, showing us how to hit the golf ball further off the tee.
Thanks for watching this video. YouTube thinks that you would benefit from watching this one next. So click that card and it could be the tip that you need to take your game to the next level. I'll see you next time.